This is the IWB Builder, our grant proposal team. Again, we're building in world. So what we decided to do was take an entire world server and make that your building environment. So you will be building in world inside a world server of Decentraland, which you can then save your scene and export that scene to your own world or to your own parcel on Genesis City, or just have people come into this environment, this world, the builder world, and view and hang out in your scene. And so we wanted to give you an update of where we were at. We have programming teams, 3D modeling teams, 2D artist teams, audio teams. We have a marketing team, a project management team. We have a lot of people that we're empowering to help create a tool set that will help others create in Decentraland. And as I mentioned at the top, no other metaverse platform has Decentraland is the only one that doesn't have an in-world building solution. Every other metaverse does. Hyperfi, OnCyber, Roblox, Fortnite. This is a standalone. This is in-world. You don't have to download anything. It is using the Decentraland platform. So we're building DCL inside DCL. So our thought is, when you currently build on the web, if you don't know how to code, you would go to this website, right? The Builder. And you see, I have all of these scenes here, and they're sort of containerized to themselves. I can't go from new scene as DUASDF to the office to new scene. I have to actually dive into each project and edit them. I can't see them simultaneously. I can't see them side by side. I can't really see myself inside the world as I'm building it, and no one else can see that as well. So what we decided to do is put all of this functionality inside Decentraland, and the power of the SDK makes this stuff really, really flexible, really, really robust. So the concept is, when you log into the builder world, right, decentraland.org/realm equals builder world, you land in the lobby. And our team is actually going to use the assets to build out this lobby. It's a 2x2 in a world. And the surrounding parcels around it will be highlighted scenes selected by our team from people who are creating. And so what we want to do is, we have a lobby and we have some icons over here. Right now I am in play mode, so I can run around and do nothing and just hang out. My settings will pull up this explore panel, and you can see I'm in the lobby. What we want to do is make the creators visible to everybody who wants to see them, and give the power to the creator to showcase their talent. So when you create a scene inside Decentraland, this builder world, your name will actually show up in this creator list. Okay? And so every person that creates essentially gets their own user world or user realm. We're still coming up with a name for it. Realm is sort of understandable in the Decentraland world. So we're going to say realm. So I'm going to jump to my realm. And so my realm now is essentially all of these scenes around here. And you can tell when I go into build mode that I have a scene right here. So this area right here is the same as one of these scenes, a 1x1 scene. And so what I can do is I can actually build all around here. I can go back to my settings panel on the right, and I can create a new scene if I want. Okay. And instead of typing in the parcels, I'm going to go run around, and I'm going to select the parcels that I want. And so in addition to being visual about the parcels that you can select and use, we also want to start enforcing some good coding practices and building practices. So we have the poly count and scene size, and we're going to be enforcing this for everybody's scene so that you don't go over the limit, so that you understand what you're confined to build within in terms of 3D space, but also file size and visual fidelity. So I can just save the scene, and now I can build on it. And what I can do is I can go up here, and this little, see, again, this is play mode, and I'm in build mode. So if I'm in build mode, I want to work on objects. I can choose from the asset catalog, and currently this is a select amount of assets from our catalog that our 3D modelers have made. And I can click on one and immediately drop it in the scene if I'd like. Boom. It's in the scene. I can grab this again. I can drop it again. I can grab it, I can move it over here, and I can drop it. I can add other items to the scene as well, like this, super quick, building out your scene. As you can tell, we went with the animal themes first. So I can populate my scene very rapidly. I can even edit this object here if I'd like, in the traditional sense as everyone else has been used to, okay? And so what we want to do is make building scenes very easy, no code, and done within Decentraland. And that's the simplistic version of what we're trying to do. There's all these other icons that we can get into later, you know, saving your scene here, uploading assets. We have an asset uploader. So if you want to upload your own custom asset, not from the builder pack or from our creator pack, you can do that. And it will be available to use in the scene. You can also, in the future, have that ability as the owner of that asset to make it public or private so that others can then use your assets on their scenes. We also have building permissions too. So if somebody else joins my world, they can come in and see me building in real time and say, hey, can I help out? And I can go to my build permissions in my settings, and I can give them access. We don't have the UI yet. Our UI is coming down in a month or so for this. But I can give them access, and immediately they'll have the capability to choose from this asset catalog and choose assets and place them on my scene. Is there any questions so far?
Last one, I have a question. This is Mariana.
What's up?
Is there any feature to have like multi-access to a scene? Like kind of have like Hyperfy, you can have like a team work on one scene. Is that even possible yet? Probably not, right? Not yet.
Well, great question. So what I was just mentioning is you can give access rights to a scene. So you could give a wallet access, and they will be able to drop assets in the scene. So essentially it is team building, yes.
Oh, gotcha. Oh yeah, I like missed that part.
No worries. And you know, if I go back out of build mode into play mode, you notice all of our build toggles turned off, and we can enjoy these scenes as they were meant to be played. And then, you know, if I wanted to, I can go and I can explore and jump into another creator's realm just by going here and clicking on their go button and join their lobby, check out what they're building, and maybe build with them. We also have an I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said that's cool. I didn't know you can like hop into other people's like building scenes.
Yeah, so you'll be able, again, what we're trying to accomplish is less of this and more of this. More building in world, building in a collaborative effort, building around other people, allowing other people to see what you're doing visually. No one can really jump into my scenes here. So what we did is we said scenes are public by default, but you'll have an option in your settings and access panel to turn this scene off or disable it. So if somebody does jump into your realm, it won't show up for them. So maybe you want something a little more private that you're working on that isn't ready for showtime yet. You can keep it as a disabled scene for everybody else, but for you, it'll be visible.
Cool. Thank you.
I want to point out how useful it is. like actually building in world and not having to jump over to preview things in world. There are some really amazing build tools. We saw DCL Edit earlier, and we saw what it's capable of, and it's really, really awesome. But it still kind of has that need to jump over and preview it. And this completely eliminates that step, which to many builders can be kind of a big deal. Of course, with the hot loading in the client, it helps. Um, but there's a lot of people that are building inside the builder, and every time they go and load it or preview it, they've got to reload Decentraland, and it takes a while. And then going back from a preview, it breaks. They have to, control F5 or like do a hard refresh of some sort just to get it loaded, or at least go back to the market page, go back into the builder, and then get it open again. So there's like, it's kind of a thorn in your side as a builder, and we're hoping that that gets more streamlined with Decentraland and what they're building, but we're also kind of taking this into our own hands. It's really convenient being able to build like in HyperFi and just being able to drop your items or drop your custom GLB, because a lot of people aren't just going to be, dropping things in here and going. A lot of people, did have somebody build them a scene in Blender, or maybe built it themselves in Blender using prefab assets. So they will need to be able to drop that into a parcel quickly with some visual UIs that we're kind of starting to see get developed here. Obviously, these are all in their infantile stages. A lot of them are super rough and will look nothing like this, or resemble something different when we get to a certain point. But yeah, I just wanted to stress the in-world building part and how this is going to be huge.
Hey, this is Isle. I have a couple questions. This is awesome. I just joined, so you may have already said this, but is this only in Worlds, or can you use this feature in Genesis City? And then my second question is, what happens when you reach your scene limitations? Does it start deleting things, or does it just stop spawning new items?
Isle, great to have you. You didn't miss too much, and thank you for your questions. So the first one is, this will only currently work in Worlds, because if everybody can imagine, Decentraland and building Decentraland with Legos, each parcel can only have 15 megabytes worth of Legos. So each bucket of Legos on a scene is very small. The maximum size for a bucket inside Genesis City is 300 megabytes. All of the current builder assets, 2,000 of them, they equal 400 megabytes. So without any custom assets or anything, if you tried to use or have all of those builder assets available to you in your bucket of Legos, it would be impossible. So we are using a custom world server, which has an infinite size of a bucket. And so all of the assets that people upload will be stored on two servers, our IWB server for backup and the world server. So, we are creating 2,000 assets as well. So that's 4,000 total. Let's just do the math, 400 times 2. So 800 megabytes of assets will be available in this world scene. They will all load at once. That's okay. We don't mind an initial loading period. It's actually loads very fast. If anybody's tried to load a 300 megabyte scene, it loads pretty quickly. It's all about the optimization. And so that's the first part. The second part is, when you get to your limit, you will get a notification that pops down from the top that says you've approached your limit, whether it's the poly count or the scene size, and you will stop being able to drop assets. We are also in that vein, Isle. We have the ability currently. All of these assets have bounding boxes, and so we are working on finalizing our system to show you as a user when your assets are out of bounds for a scene. We are thinking of doing that. We don't know when we're going to do that. We're thinking of doing that at the end when you want to publish your scene and put it in Genesis City or somewhere that is confined to limitations. We want to have a review process, and then we'll have a system that goes through and checks all of the bounding boxes of all the entities and sees if they're within the limits.
Very cool.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. So any more questions, we'd love to answer them. Again, imagine you have a bucket of Legos. You can add your own Legos to this bucket. Only your Legos are visible to you unless you allow someone else to enjoy your Legos, your creations. And then if you want to take your Lego build home with you, you can do that. And our system will take all of the Legos that you've chosen from our bucket and deploy them to your scene bucket within the scene limitations, if that makes sense. Now, in our roadmap, we are alluding to a marketplace and things like that. Some other people have touched on it. We want the ability for creators to create and be recognized for those creations. So, since this is using a different server, and we have access to all of the assets, we are hoping to unlock future potential where people can trade, buy, sell, rent assets. Not just 3D, but we also have 2D assets available too. And this is our 2D panel. We have audio assets, we'll have code and smart items. So we want this to be sort of an ecosystem of creation. And that's all I have. I don't know if Shelly or Mies, our project manager, want to discuss anything else. I mean, I have the list of all of our assets right here. You can see, I think there's a filter on here. We have a filter. You can see we have tons and tons and tons of assets. I don't know what I just did. I don't get into this very often. Let's just clear. Select all.
There we go.
So we have a ton of assets in this scene. I think like 2,000. Here we go. Of assets that are not started. Again, we've hit all of our milestones so far, of assets that are created. So this list, in addition to the 2,000 from the builder, will be available to you to use. I also mentioned smart items. The SDK7 editor does a great job of providing smart items. We've seen what Nico Ershaw did with the brick by brick builder. There's still some coding required there, or the potential. It's a standalone option of Visual Studio Code. You're not really building in world. So we want smart items to be inside of this builder world. We are planning on it. We have a system around that. So in addition to simple ones first, we want to be able to have complex ones. Simple ones first being video systems, audio systems, if this, then that technology, if technology. So if you click on something, then do this, if this, then that. And the other thing too is to, if there's animations, I think I have my other spreadsheet open over here. So we have this whole list. You can't really see this, but these are all of the attributes of an asset potentially. So if it has colliders, if it's downloadable, it's textures, it's audio, does it have animations? Do they play automatically? And so what we want to accomplish is when you do click on an asset and you edit it, we are going to have another panel right here in between the movement panels that will have all of the asset characteristics. If this is a GLB that has animations, show them, play them on auto, play them on loop. Same thing with video, same thing with clicking, adding triggers, adding trigger areas, things like that. So again, high level, speeding through this, we are taking this system and converting it to something in world. We're trying to keep it simple, stupid, or as Rustan and others have said, as simple as your grandma can do it. We want this to be very easy. That's all I had. Mies, Shelly, anyone else? Kiers from the 3D team, Madamus, programmer on the team as well. Rustan helping with the 2D, M2D, Doc. We've got all of our team members here.
I just want to say, excellent presentation. I think you covered everything that I would really want to go over. And these are, I just want to remind people, we're about 2 months in, And so we're going to have a decent amount more down the pipeline, and we just really wanted to share with you all kind of our current progress. And one of the things that I think is really amazing with this is just the efficiency. I myself, I'm not a 3D artist, I'm not a coder, I can't do any of that. And so I've always wanted to build in Decentraland. I did photography, before I came in, and I wanted to display my artwork and have an amazing wildlife art gallery. And the original builder of Decentraland didn't even have any wildlife, pretty much. And so, we definitely highlighted that and added some wildlife to our assets. And I think it's going to be awesome bringing these in and making Decentraland more wild. In addition to that, for me, I think efficiency is very important. And, I really think this could be, for me, just playing around with it, it seems like it could be 3 to 5 times more efficient, at least for me, than using the current browser's builder. And so, I'm really excited to have this because of what I could do to save time or, and just the additional creations that I can make out of it. So I'm just really excited. And that's really what's, for me personally, what's driven my passion. And I think a lot of our team's passion, for this project. And we want to make Decentraland a better place and make it more available to, even non 3D artists and coders, and maybe make it, easier for those people as well. So that's kind of what our goal is. So thank you all so much for joining us today and spending your time. And, if we haven't answered any questions, please feel free to ask them. And, our team is always available, and we'd love to hear from you.
Okay. Yeah. If there's any questions, please, shoot us them in our DAO Discord. We have, we're the Last Slice team, but we're all in the DAO Discord. On Twitter, we have all of the socials covered. So please, if you have any questions about how something will work, we really, really want to pay attention to how easy it can be to make something in Decentraland, because selfishly, I have changed my life in the past 4 years because of the ability to be creative in Decentraland. And so I want to sort of unlock that potential creativity for others, because I truly believe Decentraland offers that opportunity that you can't find elsewhere. And we want to make that opportunity easier for others. So not only can you build stuff, but hopefully be able to share, rent, sell things, 2D, 3D, audio, code, eventually as NFTs, potentially. So just think of this as a huge ecosystem to build amazing content. And thank you so much.
Question in the last room. Do we have any animated models uploaded yet that we could drop on the ground and show off?
We don't yet.
Bummer. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in addition to building this, everybody, we've built automated systems for our team to bulk upload assets, so we don't have to do it one by one. We've created the asset uploader itself so that users can create an asset and upload it themselves as well. So not only are we building in the scene and building the server, but we're building these other tool sets to help us make this process easier. We just haven't completed any animated GLBs yet. But once they will be here, then you'll have the option when you do click and edit something, those options will show up here on the right, and it'll list all of the animations, and you can choose how to play them.
Dope. Yeah, I really wanted to show off that animation feature, but you know me, I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's dope. I think that's going to be really huge once we're able to construct like custom animations with tools like that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and so our month 2 is ending in 2 days. So at the end of November, I would say December 11th would be the end of our 3rd month. We're going to have a working version for everybody to play around with and start building scenes with what we have so far. And we'll get those animated assets in there, Doc. I promise. Okay, I think that's it from my end. If anybody has anything else, please reach out in our Discord channel. And thank you so much for taking the time. Again, please give us questions and feedback. because it's only going to make this product better. And we want to make it the best, not just for us, because we're the grantees, but for everybody who will potentially use this.
Thank you so much, Lastrom.
Thank you again.
So
Yeah.
good.
Thank you, everyone.